Hello, my friends. Are you looking for new opportunities to open up in your career? Are you ready to take advantage of the success that's just beyond your grasp, something that's just around the corner? That's the aim of today's Pick a Card Tarot reading. I am going to deliver some insight and guidance on what doorways are about to open for you, allowing you to unlock possibilities and to create joy within your job and in general within the career sector of your life. Hi, this is Andrea Graham. I'm your tarot card reader from the WISHLIST, and if you're new here, welcome. My hope is that today you'll be able to take advantage of the messages that are revealed in this Pick a Card reading for you. I aim to uncover what opportunities are waiting for you just around the corner and what exactly it is that can open things up for you going forward within your career. So let's get started. So let's check out our 4 groups that we've got for you today. Starting from the left side of the screen, you are going to see pile 1. This is pile 2, pile 3, and finally on the right side, pile 4. And before we go into picking things, I'm actually going to add some stones for you for the people who enjoy picking with them. And these are actually stones that I found right out front here in Lake Superior, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, let's break this down. Pile 1 comes with Jacobsville Sandstone. Two is rocking some lovely quartz crystal. All of these are rough stones. That's really smooth. It's amazing what the years in the lake can do. Group 3, we have got the lovely Jasper that's here. It's kind of red and it has some purple inclusions on it as well. And finally, pile 4 is Yooperlite. Okay, so take a moment to focus and look at these groups. If you need more time, please feel free to pause the video and kind of meditate on the energy that you're getting from each of the crystals. You will be able to find timestamps and chapters in the description box and the video bar below. You can pick as many or as few groups as you want to. There is no right or wrong way to do this. I do suggest starting with a pile that resonates with you the most. Where are you getting the most feels? What are you drawn to? And then after watching that pile, maybe come back and check out that next choice if you're still feeling a pull to that. Whatever it is you decide to do, just trust your gut here. All right, I'm going to let you do your thing and choose your group. I can't wait to see you over in your video. Hello, friends. Group 1, welcome to your Career Pick a Card Tarot reading. I'm really excited that you're here, but before we dive into things, I'd like to take a moment to pause and connect with the group's energy so that we can really tune into the messages that are coming through. I'm going to ask you to pause, to center yourself with a few deep breaths, and hold your career question or topic in your mind. All right, beautiful. While we are calm and centered, take a moment to give a shout out to your fellow Group 1 members and just feel those good vibes and the hellos coming back to you as we uncover what's happening within your career right now. All right, very nice. As this reading is for everyone in the group, bear in mind that if something doesn't resonate with you, no worries. Just let it go and focus on what does. All right, friends, let's hop to it. All right, Group 1, you are likely well established in your career or field, or you have a lot of experience in it. You may be someone who is newer to a particular occupation or a position or spot, but I feel as though you've got a lot of overlapping experience or enough of a foundation within a particular area that you could say there's nothing really new under the sun here to me. whatever it is you're doing, even if you're shifting again to a new spot or position. I don't know. It feels like you've had your toes in the water for some time, so to speak. And so you may be a little further along, in your career or your occupation or your particular field. I feel like things really don't surprise you. You're not necessarily new to your field. We've got the 7 of Pumpkins here and the 7 of Imps, both, which are higher numbers in the minor arcana. 7 may also be a lucky number for you. And here, I want you to notice we've got this scarecrow on this who's tending to the pumpkins that are right there, to what's already been planted. That lets me know that you've got roots. You've got the seeds of experience within your current field or interest. You may be, as we say, like old hat or just well seasoned. I do feel you're likely confident in what you do and within your knowledge base. There's still some room to grow here, but you've got a firm foundation to begin with. However, the 7 of Imps card is letting me know that change may be in the air. This card in particular often implies to me that someone's moving on, okay? And you can see this here. We're literally walking right there. So you may be considering a job change as we're moving away from what's already been what he's looking at here. I'm looking at the direction of those, the individuals and the figures on the cards. There may be a move within your organization you're looking at. Perhaps you're staying in the same place, but you're like, instead of working here, I'm going to go over into this particular area. This move may also take you out of your current location, out of your current city, out of your current state, country, that kind of thing. There is travel on the horizon for some of you, and whether that's just from like an interdepartmental type shift or whether that's actually, moving a little bit further. There is a shift that's happening. And we can see here with the Spring Peepers card, which I absolutely love, evolve into your next becoming. This is so cute. That there's probably room for you to stretch yourself here, right? The life cycle of the frog goes through visible stages, things that we can see. And I feel like your career, the part of your life where you work, may undergo some distinct phases or changes as well. You may be like the spring peeper that's there at this particular moment, sort of, reaching up to grab the branch, emerging from the water below, and you're ready for what's out there in the wide world, sort of looking to the horizon, what's next for me. And I think Camel is also showing us, I'm noticing they're facing the same direction, that you are ready. If you don't already have all your ducks in a row, that you're preparing. And this could mean that you've already unconsciously realized that something isn't right for you any longer, perhaps emotionally that you're ready to move on, but it may take a little logical convincing for you to see that, this is the right choice. Or it could be quite the opposite, that emotionally you're not ready, but logically it's time to go. Camel's very tenacious and ready for the ride. They're waiting patiently for you to gather yourself and to gather the necessary provisions for this upcoming change. And I do see that this upcoming change may be a necessary one for you, as I associate the hummingbird with a symbol for a spirit guide or deceased loved one. And they're going to carry the message of intervention that we have here. And then also that message that the Desolate card is bringing to us as well. And that message is about rejection as divine protection. So you may have had to make a switch within your current job, or you may have walked away from a long-term career, or you've had to face some hard truths about where you are currently and what's the gap between that and where you want to be. Sometimes an injury or difficult coworkers, a shaky foundation, unappreciative administration or challenging bosses will stymie our growth and vision. And sometimes we're moved, or sometimes we change positions only to realize this isn't where I want to be. And so that's kind of what I'm getting right here. It's like where the ground was once fertile, we now only see this dry, barren earth as our hopes and dreams are now dried up. They're dry as ash, perhaps, in some instances. And the intervention, kind of rides in with the hummingbird here. It's almost to say that, things could have gotten worse on the course that you were taking. And it's sort of like, we're going to stop here. Sometimes it takes that final straw to, to break the camel's back, as we say, to get us to move from where we're comfortable, albeit maybe unhappy, to something scarier and new, but perhaps better for us in the long run. And for you, I see Hummingbird is offering just this little check-in for you. This may be a sign for you going forward. And so I'd keep my eye out if I were you. Perhaps you see a hummingbird or the symbol of one, or maybe you dream of one. This bird is a sign that someone from the other side is communicating, or perhaps it's a spirit guide, and they're letting you know that it's safe to move on. It's time, like they have your back. Now is the time. So keep your eyes peeled in the months to come and just see if a hummingbird pops up for you, or you might have your own sign that makes an appearance that could be of a similar kind of meaning. So yeah, if you have your own sign, if you'd let us know about it in the comments below, we'd love to hear your stories with that. Overall though, group one, the bottom line is that change is in the air for you, and it appears to be a really good thing for you and for how you feel within your occupation. We've got the sun in Gemini with versatility here, and this could refer to you as someone who is wearing many hats, as we say. Being a jack of all trades, being multi-talented, and so perhaps the direction you're headed in is a little different than where you've got most of your foundation. But you've got the ability to stretch yourself and to grow and to thrive where you're planted. We've got our 10 of pumpkins here. And when versatility shows up, it's often indicating a shift in career or within the working world. So there may be a bit of a social aspect to this change that's happening for you. It feels almost a tad performative for me, as we can see here. Perhaps like as in an interview or as in a networking event or creating new connections. There's something that is a little more people-oriented, or like the spotlight is on you for a brief period. This may also indicate attending a meeting or a party to, get to know more about where you have your sights set or the people that are involved. Some kind of meeting perhaps. So quick thinking is what's coming through this. That's the energy there. Thinking on your feet. Very conversational. There's a very conversational energy to this. And it's not heavy, but it's definitely there. And I want you to bear in mind that the energy for this shift all looks very, very good, because ultimately we have this success card here. That was the card that you guys chose, or chose the energy of the deck with, or this particular group. So this is about rapid results and developing a footing quite quickly. We have peppermint, mint there, and if you've ever grown mint, it really takes over. It grows quickly. It doesn't take a lot of work to cultivate it. And notice too, we have the number 20 here. And, that's 2 10s. That's the ending of a cycle. And we see that 10 repeated here with the 10 of pumpkins, which does indicate long-term prosperity, being able to put down roots, even with, the ability to plan for the future in terms of like family or gifts or lineage. And I see it as having, established enough of a nest egg to feel very comfortable with where you are. But you have the luxury of planning a little for your future. So I think overall the energy of change is very positive for you, group one. And if this sounds like you, I would like you to stick around, because we're going to get some more details about what is next in your career. So let's see what's coming up around the corner for you. All right, we have the energy of sublimation. Okay, so this is the energy of rising up, of moving beyond what's current. And I see this as a nod to actual transport and movement, changing physical locations, as we mentioned earlier. Some of you may have to drive, take the train somewhere, or there might be a flight in your near future. And this travel may be in regards to the sun and Gemini versatility social gathering I spoke about earlier. That was like the getting to know you, the get together, a job interview, networking, whatever that was. I see the symbol of the dove as going a step beyond sending out the resume and sending out the attachments, emailing somebody, doing other things online or over the phone. Like, it's just going beyond the feelers, right? I do sense there is interest from another party, another place, whether it's a headhunter, a scout. It's just maybe it's a mutual connection between you and the place you end up. Someone may be making a follow-up call or contact, and then suddenly there you are in flight. You're on the go. The other point that's being stressed to me about this is the movement from one phase of your life to another group one. So this is indicating you stepping over the threshold, taking the leap, moving on to something that's better for you and where you are at this moment in time. This clearly illustrates your movement. It's you taking the action that will put you in contact with other opportunities. So if you haven't started yet, this is a sign to polish up your resume, to start sending it out to multiple places, look at cities or towns or areas you'd be interested in living in. Have a little fun with your research. Like, don't be too serious about it. And network too. Call on those new connections that you've established or any like mutual friends that you might have. And finally, and what I'm getting right now is don't be shy about things either. You don't have to take it too seriously. Like, be a little bit light about this. Finally, this is also about transcending what's happened in your last place of work, being able to leave cares and worries behind you so you can move as freely as the dove that is symbolized on this card. And this is being particularly emphasized for those of you watching. If you really loved where you were, but perhaps you didn't love the politics, you didn't love the situation you were in, even the most beautiful places, places where you've been settled maybe even for a long time, or this is like, oh my gosh, this is my dream job, I feel really great about this. They can become ugly just depending on who's around you. If there's a lack of support for subordinates from higher ups, from the administration or the powers that be. So if you're walking away feeling especially heavy group one, or like the situation is very emotionally charged, know that there will be quite an emotional release for you as you work through this transition, and you will wind up feeling relief, and perhaps you will feel as light as a feather in some cases. All right, let's see if there are any noteworthy individuals for you to keep an eye out for during this transition. Sometimes we have those, helpful figures that pop in a little bit. And so we've got the Two of Pentacles. You can hear Goomba walking around there. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the Ace of Staves, or the Ace of Wands. Okay, right. So I would say for sure, yeah. I feel we definitely have two individuals here. One may be female and feels very balanced and rooted and grounded, and that feels important to me, especially if you are coming from a situation where it seemed as though there was some upheaval or you weren't feeling safe. There may have been a lack of good connections, good role models, boys club for some of you, or maybe you felt a little ostracized. So this person would be very practical. They would know the ropes, and I see them as a bit of a manager or a lead of some kind, likely a supervisor to you, or someone who assists with, like, I want to say onboarding, I don't even know what that means, and managing new hires. So this would be a person who makes others feel at ease. They're very warm, and you would know them by how they make you feel welcome and how they make you feel comfortable. It's a good person to meet right as you're starting. We also have someone who's higher up. That would be represented by this King of Cups figure here. And I see this as someone who might be even head of the organization, head of a department. They're not going to be on site as often. They may have to travel a little bit, but I see this person as being super others-oriented, wanting what's best for all, but being a little hands-off, okay? So this may be the person who initially hires you or runs or owns the company or business or the nonprofit that you're looking into, whatever it is. I see them as someone who creates and someone who initiates. They offer opportunities and they offer a means for growth. And we have two aces here. You notice that, the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Staves here. One's for passion and inspiration, and the other shows prosperity and long-term growth. And I think that's going to be a fabulous change for you. All right. So that's looking pretty good right there. And I feel like we've gotten a pretty good idea. Like this is going to be good. You're going to have a lot of creative opportunities, room for growth. You're going to feel passionate and excited about things. And yeah, you can really set your roots down here. We also talked about feeling perhaps like some emotional connection or fulfillment. having some good higher ups and other people that you can confide in or feel safe in. So I think the outcome of a move for you at this time is probably the best thing. We saw that from the intervention and the desolate card, you know, moving into something where you're evolving into your next becoming and you're going to have that success. So there's just a lot of beautiful energy and room to release and move forward for you to set down these new roots and to flourish. There's some nice connections you'll be making on the journey too. And what I'd like to do now, since we've gotten the good, we're going to see if there's any possible drawbacks that may come from this change. Okay, and we have lead. So in alchemy, this is from the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck, it was thought that one could turn more base metals like iron and lead into something that was more noble, like gold, right? Lead represents the beginning. It reminds us of, you know, how far we have yet to go, especially if we're coming from a darker place, moving to a lighter place. Lead is dense, it's heavy, but it's also stabilizing. It's also anchoring. So I believe while this job will provide a firm foundation, group one, I sense there is going to be a wobble before making the choice. Worries, concerns, questions. Is this the right job for me? What if it is another job and I'm missing out on something that's important? Do I want to start all over again? The drawbacks have to do with fears and limiting beliefs, especially if thinking about all the practical aspects of moving has weighed against the familiarity of a place that you know and may possibly love. It just might be a little too much, okay? That's going to be a lot anchoring you to that. But remember that you are in charge of you, and you are the one who ultimately decides. Do you want to stay or do you want to go? And I'm again being drawn to that number at the top of this card, the number 20, the success card, right? We also have 20 here. So I think this indicates mastery over your fears or being willing to walk through them no matter how anxious that you may feel at times. And I also see this as a reminder that you will have success in your new occupation. So I think you are going to be crossing over into something that is a lot more light and you're going to feel really good about it. So last thing we're going to do is check out any advice from Spirit on the situation. Is there anything else that you need to know or do going forward? Okay, we have the 6 of Potions. Just going to pop these on top. The Hermit. We have the Queen of Presents or the Queen of Pentacles. You guys have a lot of pentacles. That's great. Okay, we have the Devil in reverse. Here, upright. Oogie boogie. We have got the 8 of Candles. Oh, nice. And the Ace of Potions. Another ace, guys. All right, beautiful. So, yeah. Okay, I'm being drawn again back to the hummingbird. So for some of you, again, this is definitely a spirit guide or a deceased loved one who's popping in for this chat. They're talking about you taking a pause and some time to reflect on your values a little bit here and what it is that you truly love. Yeah. Remember good times, perhaps even those, like happy childhood memories, those moments you have in the past, those touchstones that you remember, and ask yourself, what made you happy then? Because this little inventory may provide additional guidance in the form of your values and your goals. It may help point you toward work that just lights you up, especially if you're feeling a little stuck. You know you want to move, but you don't know what it is you want to do yet. Also, with this, there's a feeling of knowing you are going to have a wealth of time and energy to pursue those things that you love. So whatever this is, I feel like you're going to have some ample time on your hands to, create great memories, future memories. Yeah, so by taking this leap and moving into that new job, you've got a lot of options here. Even if it is a little bit scary initially, you're not going to be chained to what no longer serves you. All right, we see that here with the Devil in reverse. Old habits, perhaps people you're no longer in alignment with, that's all just going to be left behind. So I think like anyone that you may have had some issues with, or run-ins with, at your last place of employment, whatever it was you were doing, like they're just all in the rearview mirror. There's nothing that you need to worry about that. This is the opportunity for you for a fresh start, one without the baggage, and that may be exactly what you need to feel a little lighter in your head and your heart. And once you commit, got some lazy gulls out there, you will find that you make rapid progress towards a healthier and happier heart space. And I feel this experience is going to be the healing sort of salve that you need to move forward with clarity and also with enthusiasm for your future. Ace of Potions, guys. So we talked about creativity, passion. We talked about long-term stability and wealth building. And then we also have Ace of Potions. Healing, happiness, positive emotions moving forward. So group 1, that is what is coming through for you today for your career reading. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange today, please leave your favorite, we've got a butterfly here. We keep going back to the hummingbird, so let's leave your favorite bird emoji, whatever that looks like to you, to symbolize the fresh start and freedom that is coming with your career energy. And if you're not a subscriber yet, give it some thought and hit that notification bell so you never miss any future uploads. And if you enjoyed this reading or found it helpful, be sure to give it a like and share it with others who might benefit from it. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find all the details in the description box below. That's all for me today, folks. I loved connecting with you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye. Hello, Group 2. Welcome to your career Pick a Card Tarot reading. I'm super excited that you're here, but before we dive in, let's take a moment to connect with the group's energy and to really tune into the messages that are coming through. So I ask that you take a moment to pause, center yourself with a few deep breaths, and from here, hold your career question or topic in your mind. Okay, while we're calm and centered, just give a little hello to your fellow Group 2 members and feel that hello and good vibes coming back to you as we dig into what's happening in your career right now. Okay, as this reading is for everyone in the group, if something doesn't resonate for you, no worries, just let it go and focus on what does. All right, friends, let's hop to it. So, Group 2, there are 2 things that I'm noticing about your energy at this time. The first is this idea of communication, and the second is the idea of kind of a duality, or the idea of balance. Yeah, I feel the underlying message to you regarding career at this particular moment is having a shift in the way in which you move and communicate within your workspace or field. And then also the ripple effect that has on coworkers or administration, as well as clients. And ultimately, really this is about how you see yourself, as we have this ending card. So moving out of one phase and entering into another. And a lot of it has to do with communication. Communication with others, communication with the self. And I feel this is a big shift for you. You know, it's an internal one. We've got Rabbit here. Rabbit energy can be a little timid. It could be the energy of somebody who carries this feeling of working steadily behind the scenes. Someone who maybe doesn't want to be seen by others. Someone who's happy to contribute to group work, but maybe they're not comfortable in the limelight or in large groups. You know, maybe they're not into giving presentations or talking in front of large crowds or being public with their image. And I see you, if you're here, as carrying some elements of this. But I also see you as deciding to challenge these aspects of yourself. Not that it's a negative thing at all. I can see this just as being someone who's introverted, and I identify with this as well. But it's like, okay, you've got this inner calling. We have delight and daring that's over here in the skink to start to become more visible. So this may be the result of some inner work that you're thinking about doing or you've started to do. Maybe it's just goal setting at the moment. Maybe you're working with a coach or a therapist, or just something you decide to do for you. And whatever the reason is, that shift feels more internally focused than perhaps somebody coming into your world, or coming down on you and demanding a change. It's really not an external kind of pressure. It's an internal shift. And I can see that you either feel a little out of your depth initially, or perhaps, this is the energy that you're leaving, the forest. Things are a little darker here. They're less clear. This space is, frankly, a little easier to stay hidden behind all these dark trees here. And you may have played second fiddle to others in a collaborative environment. That can be an indication of this. Or perhaps you've deliberately held yourself back from being so visible. But I really see that changing group too. I see you as embracing an energy that is much more playful and willing to take risks. The energy of play is super important here, as is the lighter aspect to balance out the shadow or the hidden sides. We've got the crystals there, which are bright. So being playful is an invitation to step out into the sunshine, away from the shadow side, away from what's dark, and to allow yourself to be fully visible. If we think about it, really, the only shadow that we see under a noonday sun is going to be a very small one. And the aspect of play and not taking things too seriously is a wonderful way to shrink shadows and to stay light, to stay buoyant. So I think as a result of this shift, your communication becomes very clear. This crystal card is often a symbol for communication for me. You clearly see who you are. You like where you're standing. You like how this feels, and you choose to maintain that. And this brand new energy has this kind of electric pulse to it. The purity of a quartz crystal, something that's absolutely clear. It becomes amplified, and from this, it's almost like an antenna. It draws in new vitality. It draws in new energy from other people, or new opportunities are coming in. People are drawn to you in ways that they weren't in the past. So you seem more open to communication, or maybe even friendship, or collaboration, in a work kind of environment. So you are more approachable. And going back to this, the ending that comes as a result of this newfound openness in the way in which you interact with and view clients, coworkers, influencers, or others in the same field. There's just this, an open feeling. It's like an open door. And I sense an initial feeling of maybe unease. There may be some comparison or overwhelm when thinking about some of these other people. Because it's almost like a transition. It's like stepping through a threshold or a door, right? And it's like once you get on the other side of that door, you're going, oh, who's in the room with me now? Like you've just arrived. And so for some of you, it is there's a bit of an energy. It's like being on the outside and kind of looking at others, feeling a little removed, feeling like you're not part of something, or that you're missing out a little bit, seeing what others have and going, am I there yet? Do I really belong here? But you do. We talked about how this initial change creates this ripple effect, and that's really what I see going on here. At a certain point, you decide to dive in. You're no longer standing on the sidelines, but you just go for it. And you may not know all the answers, or you may not know like the rules or how things work or how to even interact with some of these other people. But you allow yourself a seat at the table. You've made room for yourself, and you realize that perhaps the biggest block in all of this was not this divide here, but it was you. Not how other people saw you, but how you saw yourself. So instead of relying on, waiting for this like engraved invitation or waiting for acceptance or a total feeling of safety and security, you take in the skink and the dolphin energy and you just go for it. You go with your gut instead of having all the facts and all the answers lined up in a row. Sometimes we have to just go with our intuition. So instead of looking to others, see, she's blindfolded there, you're not looking to others for the acceptance. It needs to come from within you. You look within yourself and you ask, how can I express the most vital and creative aspects and parts of myself in a way that is uniquely me? So if you're here watching, again, you could be an introvert that's looking to be a little more extroverted within the career sector. You could be somebody who is an influencer and you're trying to kind of like make your way through this as well. All of this may require an effort on your part. Yeah, because change is never easy. But if you stick with this playful energy, the dolphin, that energy that they bring, it's really going to make a huge difference in how all of this goes forward. And for some of you watching, you may already be in the midst of this change, or even at the end of it, and perhaps you're curious about what's going to happen next, because I do see there is still going to be some growth for you in the communication sector of how you're holding your space. And I see you as using your intuition, as using your inner sense of well-being, right? And play. Yeah, a lot more than you used to. Yeah, that's going to be really good for you. You're likely going to continue to branch out and to grow within the realm of communication. And this could be simply interpersonal communication or within the realm of social media platforms, marketing, client outreach, or how you decide to show yourself to the world, again, which can imply personal branding for some of you watching this. I just sense there is a lot more exploration and potential for you here, as well as what's coming through is like a revelation of your own truth. Standing in your own truth. It's as though your roots have gotten established and now your tree is starting to really bloom. And you're seeing how strong the foundation is, even if the leaves are shaking. All right, so group 2, if this sounds like you, stick around and we'll get some more details about what is going to be happening next in your career. So I want to ask the question, what is around the corner for you and what's coming up next? Okay, so with this we have the oil of vitriol. So this is definitely a change that has to do, again, with the inner self and possibly even battling our own ego. And that really reinforces this concept that the Mars in Scorpio is highlighting. Change is hard. It's difficult. And there may be times where you kind of slip back into old habits and patterns. Things may be in flux for a little while as you kind of grow into your ever-evolving self, allowing yourself to get comfortable in your own skin. But remember that eventually, any ripples that you've created, on the pond they're going to even out. They're going to straighten out. Everything's going to smooth over. But expect some bumps here and there within the realm of interpersonal communication. There may be times that you misread someone or something, or you get triggered from old patterning. But remember your playful energy. That's like really the predominant advice that's coming through. That is also the fastest way back to realignment. And know that your ego has experienced a death. You've ultimately changed yourself on a very deep level by allowing yourself space at your table. And it's highly likely that you're not going to fall into your old ways permanently. It's unlikely. Yeah, the wake that gets kicked up is going to calm down for smoother sailing. Okay, so I want to see what else is happening next in your career as a result of this change. Gold. You've struck gold, yeah. So take this as an affirmation of like whatever it is that you have in mind. This could be, even getting like a sum of money, receiving recognition. It could be a project getting off the ground, a promotion, or the knowledge that this inner change that you've had the courage to nurture and stay with despite any ups or downs, it's permanent and it is working for you. So your change, this inner change, this shift that we've been talking about, is going to bring out very positive growth. It's going to bring very positive rewards for you and very good success for you within your particular field, whatever that is. So congratulations. Yeah, that's what I'm getting for that. So the next thing I want to do is see if we have any noteworthy individuals for you to keep an eye out for during this transition, as sometimes, well, a lot of times we're going to be, running into people that are helping us on our journey. So we have got Fortune, and that's Lakshmi, and what else? We have the Nine of Cups, and Wisdom, Sarasvati. I hope I said that right. Okay, so remember, we did talk about you really attracting others as a result of this inner glow up. I mean, we also see that with our gold card as well, but I see two individuals kind of coming into your orbit as you're working through things, and one is a person that you really look up to. You may not know them personally, but they represent who you aspire to be. So think of it as like a mentor or someone who's really, really higher up compared to where you are in the career sector. So this person is represented by Lakshmi on this fortune card here. Hopefully you can see that. I get the feeling that they're probably pretty well known for whatever it is that they're representing, okay? They're very successful. And you may be a little shocked about this connection happening. You know, whether it's a mentorship, whether it's a collaboration, a group project of some kind, an interview, a meet and greet, it's like you're just rubbing elbows perhaps, you know, or maybe it's the result of you just being more visible. This individual will provide you with like that little pep in your step that you need to keep going forward and a little awe. You know, possibly they'll have some other words of wisdom or, you know, just knowledge, like knowing that you made this connection might be enough for you. And so I feel like this almost represents, this individual represents a milestone for you, that just in the fact that you're getting to communicate, to meet them, whatever it is. And the other figure is someone that you may not hold with the same immediate awe, but they are very stable, they're very steady, they're very good at what they do. And I see them as working with you on a more one-to-one basis. This may be someone you know, or you're aware of their name from overlapping circles within your work community. It could be somebody from an outside source, and you'll get to know them. I do associate them, and I do feel that they are very well grounded, they are established, they know the ropes, and they're really going to help coax more of this like inner magic that you're cultivating out of you. So I do feel that this is definitely more of like a one-to-one mentorship kind of a deal. And we have this figure here, the Nine of Cups, who's sandwiched between fortune and wisdom, right? And I feel this represents you and your wish fulfillment. You know, how filled up and how joyous the career facet of your life is making you. You've got a lot to look forward to emotionally, group two. I think there is a lot of growth happening here in the future, and I feel you're ready for it. You've got connection supporting you and showing you the ropes along the way. Yeah. This is good. This is good. This is almost like a point of reflection down the road. We've gotten a pretty good idea of some of the positives for you as a result of this inner growth and change. So I do want to take a look to see if there are any drawbacks for you that may come as a result of this, because with any change there is going to be something that's there. And so we have the red and white rose. So what I'm witnessing here is a change where you become so different, and yet you retain who you are at the essence of its root and core, right? It's a serious awakening for you. Truly knowing yourself and accepting you is going to create this marked radiance to others. And for some people, I'm going to say this change may be a bit much for them to handle. So one drawback to this transformation and this shift for you within yourself, and then therefore we have this ripple effect within your career field, it's the fallout that transformation always brings with it, right? The shedding of the old and the growth of the new. So there may be some individuals around you who are envious of what is happening. Some may take this change personally when it has absolutely nothing to do with them. It highlights the areas in their own lives where they may not be allowing something beautiful to come to life. There may be some projection that's happening there. You know, when we have no movement and we don't allow ourselves to do what our heart wants, only rigidity and resentment can breed, especially if success is blooming around. These individuals may feel less than when they look at you. Thus, you may expect some stirred up feelings in those nearest to you. those who want to cling, onto an old role you were playing for them in the past. So, think within your circles. If you're going to have any individuals that you're aware of within group, your work, where that's going to be happening. I was having a hard time getting that out. Okay. Finally, I want to check on any advice from Spirit on the situation. Is there anything else that you need to know about going forward? All right, we have the Ten of Wands. We have Judgment. We have got the Eight of Cups. We have got the Seven of Wands. We have got the Mother of Pentacles. The Two of Swords. And the Lovers. Okay. So I do feel with this, there's almost a bit of a story here, moving across the top. Going forward, Spirit shows us that you are going to overcome some of those fears. And the older version of you, who didn't have that place at the table when you weren't making room for yourself. And that's what I see here with the Ten of Wands and the Judgment card, moving from the 10 to the 20. So much of the story is about you holding yourself back by withholding esteem or maybe withholding validation or love. Because we can see here, these wands are super heavy and dark. And then with the Judgment card here, we see how light and bright the dove is, how it's you breaking through your own self-imposed limitations. Will there be a bit of heavy lifting here within this situation? Of course. But I do feel it's within your wheelhouse to implement these changes. And Spirit shows how bright and light the other side can be when you're breaking through your own chains. Spirit's also highlighting that there may be some people that you choose to walk away from as a result of this inner glow. We were just talking about that. And just the way people are noticing you, right? It has to do with your success. You're on a new path, and it's hard not to see how you shine. It's like when someone you work with gets that promotion, or they land a coveted position, or they move into management. When there's that leap, over this divide that's there, people can have a wide range of feelings in response to that change. And some of those feelings are congratulatory, while others are envious or suspicious. Many have mixed feelings about it. So even if you aren't changing a job position or necessarily even making a career move, just the attention from this attitude shift and communication style will likely be enough to garner some grumblings around you. It's just part of life, and Spirit wants you to know that you have total free will in this and how you choose to handle those individuals. The only gentle caution I'm receiving is that if you're someone who's a bit of a people pleaser, don't fall into old habits, because there are going to be some people who will want to take advantage of that. They're going to want to draw you back into their fold, and they're going to want you to self-soothe them and to make, give them attention when they should be doing their own soothing as opposed to relying on you. All right. And as we saw with the Gold and the Nine of the Cups cards, there is going to be success and fulfillment with you, with this new attitude and way of carrying yourself that has a large impact on your career. It's amazing and miraculous how an inner shift can create just such a huge change. And yet here you are, and you will be feeling very good about your productivity and what it is that you bring to the table. And I think most of all, what I'm getting from this is this feeling of peace within you that maybe wasn't so present before. Yeah. And as you navigate your new self, you will be feeling balanced and integrated and whole. You've got that balance that you've been seeking before for a long time, right? And the quiet side of you has a space, but so does the more expressive side of you that was hidden before. You see the two sides of the same coin and how they exist in harmony with one another instead of maybe judging one or punishing, or holding back. And I think this new you is going to have many opportunities to grow in the future in ways that you could not predict from where you stand now. And guys, you're going to be ready for this. Absolutely. So group 2, that is what is coming through for you today. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange today, please leave. Let's do, this is random, let's do the window emoji to symbolize the glass ceilings or any imposed boundaries that you are going to be breaking through. And if you're not a subscriber yet, give it some thought and hit that notification bell so you never miss any future uploads. And if you enjoyed this reading or found it helpful, be sure to give it a like and share it with others who may benefit from it. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find all the details in the description box below. And that is all for me today. I loved connecting with you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. So take care, my friends. Bye-bye. Hello, Group 3. Welcome to your Career Pick-a-Card Tarot reading. I'm super excited you're here, but before we dive in, let's take a moment to connect with the group's energy, and that way we can really tune into the messages that are coming through. So pause, center yourself, take a few deep breaths, and I'd like you to hold your career question, your topic, whatever it is that drew you to this particular reading, and keep that in your mind. Okay. And from this calm and centered place, you just give a little hello, a shout out to your fellow Group 3 members. You can do it out loud, do it in your head. And at the same time, then feel the good vibes and those other hellos that are coming back to you. All right, we're going to uncover what's happening in your career. Remember that this reading is for everybody who's here, and if something doesn't resonate with you, no worries, just let it go and focus on what does. Okay, friends, let's hop to it. So what's happening in your energy currently within your career? I'd like to start with the moon in Aquarius card that's coming up here. I'm drawn to this keyword that we have here, independence, because I'm getting that while you are a very independent individual, there's a bit of a chaotic energy that may be surrounding you at this time. Things feel a little different, a little like they're in upheaval a little bit. And when I first was meditating and tuning into your energy right before filming, I saw what appeared to be like a storm cloud that was rolling in over the landscape. There were these very large black clouds that really blotted out most of the horizon. Yet, in all of this, were these 2 or 3 really incredibly pure beams of golden light, and they cut through the clouds and down to the ground where you were standing, where you were waiting. And so you had all this crazy cloud weather activity happening over you, but it was getting really, really close. And I felt like this was your energy, like you're like those beams that are cutting through everything, that you're cutting, you've got this, I guess, powerful kind of energy, so much so that it cuts through the storms a bit. And I see that as like this independence energy we were talking about. So I understand that the clouds are likely representing an overwhelming situation. Perhaps it's other people's energy at work. It could be a feeling of being trapped right now within career or just regarding things in general. Maybe not in tune with where you are in your workspace or with the people around you. So group 3, oh, and I want to say too for situations. For some of you, it may be a situation. Group 3, my point is here that you are very, very sensitive to other people's energy and what it is that they're throwing down at you. And while you are independent and you likely need alone time or perhaps even prefer it, there's a lot I do feel that's overwhelming you at this time in terms of life purpose or connecting with meaning within your career and feeling stable about that. And you may require or wish perhaps a little more guidance or support moving forward at this time than what you might ordinarily seek out. Yeah, it's interesting. We have some themes here for sure. Visually, pumpkins, the swords there. That's interesting. And that's like earth over there. There's a distinct lack of water energy that I'm getting here. We see a little bit here. Maybe that's a little potion on the happiness card with Majorum. But I'm not getting a lot of water, and water in tarot represents emotions, the emotional aspect of the selves, and also our intuition, like being in tune with that. Yeah. Here we have, let's just look at some of these cards that are the same here. We've got the common raven and the crow, right? Align with your inner compass. And this here is a symbol of intuition with the crow card. So those are two corvids. And I see these feathered friends as signs of someone who has strong intuition, or someone who's more in touch with the unseen energies of our daily lives. However, to me, this is feeling a little muddled or a little blocked right now due to foreign energy, astral debris, little extras that are making themselves home around you and within your auric field. And that would be representative of those clouds that I saw. So I feel as though you've got energetic sovereignty, you really know you have independence, but there's something that is challenging you right now. And when we run into those challenges, whether we're like sick, we're running into physical issues, we have emotional stuff that's happening right now, there may be problems at work, what it can do is it can really open you up unintentionally, so you wind up carrying things that aren't yours. And so the raven to me is illustrating this disconnect between your intuition and where you actually are currently. So you may not be able to see the forest for the trees, so to speak. You may not be able to see all sides of the situation. You may even have this feeling where you feel a little trapped right now. Yeah. And I see this repeated here in the Three of Pumpkins. This is the Three of Pentacles, and it indicates teamwork. But on this particular rendition of this particular card, we're lacking like the three sentient figures we usually see. We've got one person, and then there's this cat that's in the Halloween deck. It's on every card. So we have one individual who's doing the work, which speaks to me of a split or feeling disconnected, or perhaps it's like you're having to take on too much at this time. And I can almost picture these other two individuals like down below, up watching you. This would be you up here. They're letting you do all the work, right? They're letting you do the heavy lifting, because there is just this sense of removal, or not feeling a sense of community or part of something, lacking a support. And so I could tie this again back to, that vision I had of the clouds all around you. The clouds can be muddling things up for you, so you're not getting a clear, I guess, pulse on what's happening within your career necessarily, where you want to go, but also not being connected to your intuition. And then when it comes to other people, there's like this buffer around you. Like, there's just that lack of support that's happening. And so in order to clear that out, in order to clear out any boundaries that are popped up there, or obstacles is really what I want to say, in order to clear that muck out, there needs to be a change here, which is where this Death card is coming in. Yeah, an informed decision needs to be made. Yeah, so this is the Queen of Bats, right? Queen of Swords. She is a clear thinker, and while she's decisive, she's not somebody who rushes to conclusions. She doesn't hurry into and through something if it's detrimental to herself or to those around her. She's truly independent, and she's a strong leader. And I sense this isn't so much about a figure coming in to solve this for you, as much as it's about you tapping into the balanced energy that she represents. This is an internal shift. I'm going to go see what Goomba needs. I'll be right back. Going back to the crow here, the shiny rainbow sphere that it's standing on represents all the inner knowings and intuitive connections that we could possibly have. And crow has this has a direct connection to this. He's standing on the source directly in this particular card. The question is, How will you take the steps to reconnect with your intuition by clearing out this extra stuff that's pushing you around? What are the practical steps that you can take in the 3D, in our physical world, to handle this? The crow's watchful, it's tuned into everything that's unseen, and when this energy is out of balance, it's ungrounded and it's hypersensitive. And I feel this is a reflection of where you might be at this time. Overwhelmed. When we're overwhelmed, we are very sensitive to the energies, to the attitudes, to rules and other things and situations that are around you, other experiences that are kind of being thrown at you. And there's almost a free-falling quality to this, or I want to say even one of burnout is what I'm picking up. The tarantula, I'm noticing here, like I want to connect this to the moss card. I can see it creeping closer to that. And that's an interesting intersection, because the tarantula represents both being at a crossroads while also claiming your life's purpose, okay? So this card, the tarantula, appears when we need to make a big decision of some kind, and we talked about that with the Queen of Bats. The arachnid itself may represent a guide for you in a sense, if you see, or crows. So if you see, spiders of a type, or specifically tarantulas for some of you, this is maybe like a spirit guide coming in to whisper you to attention, that kind of still small voice inside of you that's asking for your attention, to a movement towards something that's more fulfilling for you. So perhaps part of this black cloud we've been talking about, the black cloud energy, it has to do with the fear of moving forward, of claiming your life's path, or not knowing the first steps to take. The tarantula's out of balance energy is about hesitation, overthinking. It's about ruminating on things too much, being too much of the mind, okay? And again, that's not being so in touch with the emotions, as we talked about, the lack of water in these cards here. But when we're in balance, this energy is all about following that inner guidance and intuition, which is what these other cards have been signaling to us. Now, the moss here, it's about comfort. It's about taking a break. It's about a pause. It's like I can see a spider coming to rest on the moss in the forest, or a beautiful backyard under the tree, just taking a moment to carve out some time to rest and recuperate, especially for you if you've been feeling some burnout. So tend to what needs tending to in your inner garden of emotions. As when we tend to ourselves, we become more ripe with possibilities and new energy, which is what that fertility card is showing us. So some of you getting back on track, it's about giving yourself a break and tending to your inner needs for a while, enlisting others for support as needed. And I see you taking the time to do this, and your focused diligence is going to help you realign that inner compass, okay? Which is going to lead to our happiness here, right? It's leading to a reconnection with your inner self, your clarity, your third eye, your intuition, so you can see clearly and lean into your decisions firmly as you look to your future and you look to your career, right? There is happiness on the other side of what it is you're dealing with, group 3, so definitely hang in there, my friends. Let's see what's around the corner for you, like what's coming up next in regards to this energy, and what is the black cloud that we're noticing here? What is that about? Okay, so I've got Pluto. So part of your pause, I think, or let's put you here. Or after your pause, there may be some inner work that could happen for you. Pluto's all about the underworld. It's about digging into what lies beneath the surface. And some of this imagery here, we've got the skulls here, that mirrors what's happening on the death card. Part of this energy may be about noticing how you fit into your current job or not. Perhaps you're in a space that once you felt good about, but you no longer do. Pluto is all about growth and the lessons we glean from reflection. Pluto is a very magnetic, it's a very powerful kind of energy. One that, in fact, almost mimics the power I felt of that cloud in the original vision. And the black of the hand actually mirrors the color of those storm clouds that I saw, while the gold orbs on here are the same color as the beams of light that were coming from your upper chakras. I think you will be feeling this power. You're going to be feeling your power. I feel if you're watching with us this far, you're somebody who's strong. You don't shy away from the work, from inner growth. You have all the tools that you need at your fingertips to heal, and you're aware of it. Going back to this independence card. You're ready to heal. You're ready to step into your own radiance. Let's see what else we can learn about this shift. Because I know this is a career reading, but it's funny because a lot of this is just about seeing what we need to delve into so we can take those steps forward in our career. Beautiful. Okay. I think I'm saying this right, the androgyny? Or the androgyne? You can let me know. Okay. That's a beautiful card. All right. This card here reflects a depth of understanding of the self. It's like the resolution of dichotomies. It's much like the Lover's card in traditional tarot. It's a coming together and unification of two parts of a whole. And so group 3, it seems as though, as you're working through and offering yourself, whatever it is you need, you emerge as this unified whole. Brand new, you're radiant with creative potential and artistry. And this rebirth of yours is going to open your eyes to pathways and potentials that you had not seen before as options for you. So what once bothered you, maybe about others, may bother you no more if you were at war with yourself. There are no more sides. Things that coworkers said or did that got to you may just now roll off your back. And for others, this is a total inner and outer transformation. You step away from your current position into something totally new that's reflective of your new and ever-evolving self. So some of you who are currently searching for work will find something that's just right for you. I see you embracing any perceived flaws within yourself, any quirkiness, and you're making everything work for you in your own unique way. So you may have seen something as like a quote-unquote flaw, but is it really? I don't think so at all. For those of you who are feeling hopeless, new pathways and possibilities are emerging for you, things that you were not able to see before. Yeah, like our tarantula here. You're kind of getting to that crossroads, the purpose of your life. And notice we have a spider here also. We just said that. That's wild. So we have the 2 crows, we've got like fertility and things growing, 2 cards with the pumpkins on them. The Pluto energy and the death energy match. Yeah, there's a lot about balance in here. Yeah, this is you stepping into your power, owning that Queen of Bats, the Queen of Swords energy, and making decisions from an empowered space. And by you doing so, I think this automatically helps to rebuild your aura, to rebalance it, I should say. And any negative energies around you are going to be dissipating. Those clouds are going to be parted. You will recognize the power, and your energy regains sovereignty within your auric field. If it's not yours, it's not staying. And I see the rainbows here as being indicative of a healing message and a reminder that this cycle is complete. The clouds have cleared away, and all around you we have open horizon and your own powerful energy. To me, this is a very beautiful message, and it certainly correlates with our happiness card that we have here that we pulled in at the beginning of the reading. Yeah. So I want to see if there are any noteworthy individuals for you to keep an eye out for during this period of transition for you. So we have contemplation, Chang-O, and the 4 of Swords. I'm not really getting that, actually. Yeah, I think the short answer for you is no, because this is a personal move. Outside of your regular inner circle or mentor or therapist or people you're chatting with, I see you doing a lot of this work on your own. And this makes sense giving, the original Moon in Aquarius card that we were talking about, that independence card. Yeah, this is all about you. There is going to be a period of contemplation and rest followed by a break or a pause, as indicated by the 4 of Swords. So this could indicate a social media detox even for some of you. And when you're ready to go, you'll be right back at it, refreshed and ready. Ready to express yourself. Yeah. Okay, so we know that you've got this really beautiful new energy that suits you coming out of the personal transformation and shift. So I want to see what other outcomes there may be as a result of this. Okay, vinegar is what we have here. Okay. So vinegar has qualities that are really quite possible or impossible to ignore, right? Even hearing its name saying its name right now, it can make your mouth pucker up. Like, I feel like my mouth is dried out. And what I'm seeing here are three things, okay, that all have to do with the way you carry yourself going forward. And these will change your interpersonal communication experiences on the job. So first we have this yellowy color that's here, which I associate with a solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra is the seat of our personal power and represents how we carry ourselves and show up in the world, how we interact with the world. It's also tinged with green, okay, which connects to our heart chakras. That's the next chakra up of our main chakras. And I connect that with emotion and healing. And I want to tie this a little bit into memory as well. So I see you as having this new supercharged solar plexus after the shift, after the transition. And you present with much more strength. You seem very comfortable with who you are. You have no problem speaking your mind with care, right? The green color illustrates that you never let yourself get too hard, okay? As you're able to access your empathy and consideration. You know, and remember when I said that things coworkers might say or do could be annoying at one point, but you let it roll off of you? That is what I'm talking about. That reflects the energy of this kind of shift. The second thing is your experiences fuel your ambition and creative expression. You are going to find ways to make meaningful connections and interactions with those around you in your workspace. You can build bridges with others that I think people can't. Some people just can't. There may be like that one person that drives you nuts or drives a lot of people a little crazy. And for you, that's nothing. It's nothing to talk to them or to listen. And for some of you, the journey to your inner unity will serve as major inspiration in what you put forth. Your productivity and your creativity are going to be at an all-time high going forward. And finally, like the vinegar's taste that we were talking about, what you have to say can't be ignored. Your words are going to ring with an authenticity that makes others pause. You won't have to shout to be heard. You'll be very good in groups, diplomatic, and when you speak, others will listen, period. Beautiful. Okay, very nice. So I want to check out any advice from Spirit on the situation going forward. Is there anything else that you need to know or do going forward? Okay, so we have got the Eight of Cups. These are kind of bigger cards. We'll put those there. We have got the Ten of Wands in reverse. Looks like this. We have got the Four of Swords. The Five of Swords. And the Nine of Pentacles. I want to put this, I don't, right here. All right. So, group 3. Spirit reminds us that the prior energy you were enmeshed with wasn't healthy and it wasn't productive. The Eight of Cups to me indicates an escape or walking away from something that no longer serves you. So even if you once felt really good about your employer or a particular track that you were studying or you'd hung your hat on, it's okay to walk away if it's not in your heart anymore. So know that you have to give yourself that permission to do that. If things are less than optimal for you, walk away. It's okay. Preserve your sanity. Let go when it's time. And as you do, the Ten of Wands in reverse illustrates you letting go of your burdens, your old worries, your cares, your tasks, the expectations that are put on you, roles, duties, obligations, maybe things that other people are projecting onto you. You'll find yourself much lighter after the fact because this isn't yours. It illustrates you kind of busting through the storm clouds and watching them dissipate as you get back in touch with you and both your intuitive and your creative sides. And that's going to make you feel so much more strong, particularly when it comes to communication. Know that it's okay to rest. It's okay to take time out where you need to and to give yourself the support you need as you move through transitions. Didn't we have the Four of Swords already? Yeah, that's the second time you got that, right? So give yourself time. Give yourself grace. It's okay. There is light and strength and a newfound sense of self on the other side of this. Know that. And in time, you will forge your own path into a career that suits you, that's perfect for you. You know, whether that's self-employment, whether it's working with others, you will find a beautiful balance. You're going to find success, and you're going to be feeling good and happy. Yeah. So group 3, that is what's coming through for you today. It was a little different than some of the other readings so far. This really was focusing more on kind of breaking through any barriers that are happening at this time. A lot of that's within, but as you do so, know that it is going to make some big changes in you in the way that you relate to career and self, communication, creativity, intuition, and how all of that's going to, you know, root you, ground you. You're going to find yourself, and then you're going to have that alignment with your inner compass and be able to move forward, you know, in any way that you want to. So that's what's coming through for you today. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange, please leave. Let's do the compass emoji to symbolize the new directions you're taking yourself. And if you're not a subscriber yet, give it some thought and hit that notification bell so you never miss any future uploads. And if you enjoyed this reading or found it helpful, be sure to give it a like and a share with others who may find it of value. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find the details in the description box below. That's all for me today, folks. I loved connecting with you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. So take care, friends. Bye-bye. Hi, Group 4. Welcome to your Career Pick-a-Card Tarot reading. I'm really excited that you're here with us. And before we begin, what I've been doing with the other groups is just taking a moment to connect to the energy. So let's take a moment to connect to Group 4's energy. And that'll help us root into any messages that are coming through, help refine those so that they are a little bit more for you. So I'm asking you to pause at this moment and center yourself. Take a few deep breaths. And hold your career question or topic, whatever it is that brought you here today. Hold that in your mind. All right, so while you're calm and centered, give a little shout out to your fellow Group 4 members and feel those good vibes and the hellos that come back to you as we delve into what is happening in your career. Very nice. Okay, this reading is for everyone in the group. Please remember that. So if something doesn't resonate with you, no worries. Just let it go and focus on what does. All right, friends, let's hop into it. All right, Group 4. So there are a few energies here that are kind of coming at me all at once. I feel like I'm being pulled in a couple different directions. One idea is this idea of creativity that we see here. We've got stimulation and screech owl. Another has to do with how you're running your energy within a career. We've got mouse, and then we also have tiger, two very different energies. And then also we've got sort of these ups and downs that inevitably come in life. We've got abandon, we've got the wheel of fortune with that. We also have three very powerful major cards, the high priestess, the wheel of fortune, and the star. And chasing on their heels is Mars and Capricorn. So this is some pretty big stuff here. So I would have to say, Group 4, you strike me as someone who is quite creative. This could be literally in any field, whatever that is to you. It could mean that you're a creative person who's working at a job that doesn't make room for creative expression. You know, we've got the screech owl here, and from what I understand, and I remember reading, that the screech owl brings in live blind snakes back to their nests to keep that nest pest free. They also use camouflage to blend in effortlessly, with the trees. Even if I think they said if the trees are moving a little bit, they'll even like sway in the wind a little. And so I think the message here is to get creative, right? To use your creativity. This may be to look for unique job opportunities for those who are searching right now. But I feel for the vast majority of you watching, this is more like an awakening. There is something stirring inside of you that wants to be born. It wants to be let out. Perhaps your creative side has been stifled for too long. This mouse card can indicate that kind of, busy energy that we get sometimes as we're moving for motion's sake. We get so wrapped up in like the day-to-day, our to-do lists. And this could be at a particular job you have right now. It may seem like you're spinning your wheels a little bit. Perhaps you've lost sight of your purpose and your passion. And when we're in that mouse energy, we can feel a little bit aimless, a little listless. And for others, there can be a little bit of fear perhaps wrapped into this. We can become small here because there's no risk and there's no reward. And that speaks to this abandon card right here. Sometimes we lose our identities, in the careers that we take. We might adopt a career, like we are that occupation. And when it's done, there can be a period of adjustment as we get acclimated with our truths again. If something happens, say, and you're forced to walk away, or the job ends for whatever reason, that can be tough afterward if you're really wrapped up in seeing yourself as that individual. Abandonment also happens when we don't allow the truth of who we are to be fully expressed. So at this point, group 4, you might pause and check in with yourself. Is there an area of your life where you've not fully expressed yourself? Does that overlap with your career or work experience? And what would it take for you to allow yourself to step forward? For the career you want, I think you're like this tiger, okay? You're ready to pounce. There is a lot of intensity here. Look at the orange up around the fire symbol that's up at the top of the card here. That's like the sacral chakra. It makes me think of that. It makes me think of creative expression. So it could be your creativity is budding. It's getting ready to burst into bloom. And I feel as though nothing is going to stop that, okay? The other, stimulation, there's heat. There's stuff that's happening. It's like you're bringing heat to something you're cooking. You're making popcorn. Like the popcorn is it's gonna pop, right? When you have the steam and the heat build up. And I think the other side to that is allowing the time for it to happen. The tiger speaks to the stillness before the pounce. Spend time in meditation or allow yourself to really get in touch with what it is you want. If you channel some of this Mars and Capricorn energy, this can help to, fuel your dedication to your cause. Time alone with you will allow for a more full expression of what it is you need. So take that pause, take that moment, and look within. And the High Priestess, I feel, supports this. It's a card of intuition, of going within to express what's needed. And the bird that we have over here supports clear communication of your creativity and using your voice. This may also indicate a need to speak up in regards to your needs, to your wants, within a working space with certain authority figures. If you've been feeling unheard, if you, are somebody where you've sat back, you've allowed your voice to go unheard, make a plan ahead of time. Get some talking points down, review and visualize how you'd like a conversation to go. See the outcome, even before you engage. Even if it's not like a big presentation. It could be strategizing, it could be in a group workspace. You can pause and take a moment to write down some questions you have or thoughtful points you'd like to get across. So don't let yourself be silent, group 4. It's important to remember that. People do want to hear from you. It's just that some folks get caught up in dominating the conversation. That can happen easily. And I want to say, too, if you've been going through hard times at work with feeling isolated, feeling left out, feeling a lack of communication or creative opportunities, know to have hope, okay? Things will not always be as they are. There's always going to be a shift with things. When things change, it often creates a ripple effect that impacts those around you. So if you take a little initiative right now, speak up a little more often, you're going to have an audience. Know that. Pay attention to those around you. because there are others who are probably feeling the same way that you are. You just may not always catch their signals, but they're there. So try to be in tune with your environment. And yeah, with the firefly, this reminds us we're meant to recall our passions, in whatever form that they take. And I do feel as though you are entering this like creative period. It's really going to put you back in touch with your creative roots. It's going to allow you to stand tall and with confidence, which is something that you can bring into your communication with other people. So this is a period where change is really possible for you, Group 4. I think you're on the cusp of drawing in something creative, drawing in something stimulating and challenging, and something that's suited just for you, whether that is a project, whether that's swapping jobs, whether that's leveling up, changing your career field completely. You've got something that's warming and things are starting to heat up a little bit here. So that's what the energy is doing. And if this sounds like you, it sounds like what you're going through and experiencing, stick around and we'll get some more details about what is happening next in your career. So, all right, I do want to ask the question, basically what's coming up next for you, what's just around the corner, and we have the Blue Temple, the Azure Vault. Okay, so this is beautiful. This is expansive. It's like we've got your own creative vault that's opening up wide. It's the horizon's starting to get bigger and bigger, and I can't help but associate this, with form and like shape and color. It's like a study in blue, all shades of blue from dark to light. So to me, this means you're entering a time of study, of expression, of learning and playing and feeling. This is in depth, and it's going to be fairly personal, and it may or may not include other people. It may in the sense of being inspired, but I don't get a lot of you working like one-to-one with somebody else. This feels like a personal journey, maybe something you're doing and enjoying on your own time. I see you as excited. I see you as really lit up. I see you as ready to dive deeply into what it is you want. And that's your stimulation that we've been talking about. It's the creative focus of the tiger as well. This is a journey to the center of your heart. It's singular, it's beautiful, it's as unique as you are, and it's going to leave you changed during and after. It's like the caterpillar emerging as a butterfly. So that's going to be different for every one of you who's watching. And that's what I'm getting at this moment. But what I'd like to do next is see if there's noteworthy individuals on this path for you. A little bit of that was coming through, but maybe we can dig in a little more. So I've got some cards here for that, and to see who you need to keep an eye out for during this transition. Oh, this is interesting. We have the Moon. We have the Four of Cups. And then we have the Sun. So Moon and Sun. Yeah. We were talking about some of those opposites, like the mouse and the tiger a little bit earlier. So we have Moon and Sun to back that up. Okay. I think during this, your creative period, your blue phase, we'll call it, this deep dive, your guides are going to be keeping you company. That's what I'm getting about this. That's not necessarily outside individuals. There may be some pets or other animals who serve as further inspiration, but this is a you thing. Your intuition is going to be very active at this time, so it may be a period where you can really lean into your intuitive voice. It's not so much about other people as it is about you and giving yourself the gift of time and presence that you're not going to be able to really get from anyone else. So during this same period and beyond, I do see you connecting with other like-minded individuals, like peers, others who are studying similar topics. There may be a cohort of individuals that you connect with. So like maybe you're back in school or, taking some kind of course or class or a workshop or something like that. It could be networking too. Or it could be totally unrelated to your current occupation, and these are just simply good friends of yours. But I do see them as connected to your interests, however. There's a commonality there. So maybe you have friends who are artists, and you're all artists, for example, or writers, just as an example. Finally, there's going to be some noteworthy individuals that you encounter down the road. And this would be, to me, after you've started to be a little more visible with your change, a little more communicative, or further along in your creative deep dive. These are people who are inspirational to you, and you either model yourself off of them in such a way that you admire who they are, or what they have, or what they like, or how they express themselves. It's like a feeling of being completely inspired by somebody, like a role model. Everything about them, you like it. And they just check off your boxes, okay? They're at that intersection of creative expression and communication where you're likely drawn. So I do feel they are a little removed for you, group 4. So for some of you, this is just pure inspiration. It's fantasy. And for others, you may actually rub elbows a little bit. I don't feel like they're super involved, though, because they're likely very elevated for what they do. They could be like sisters. They could be, something. Influencers, maybe something like that. The thing that strikes me the most about them is their attitudes about, and how open they are. They totally embrace what they stand for. They're 100% authentic. And I feel that is something that you would gravitate toward, especially if you've been boxed into a particular way of being, either personally or professionally to this point. So there may be some messages or words exchanged here or there. I sense some admiration for some of what you're putting out at this point, which is really great fuel for your fire. It's like you get noticed by somebody here. A little compliment's thrown your way. So just don't be shy about whatever it is that you're creating or making. Get it out there, because there is absolutely something for everybody, okay? Don't be shy. Don't hold yourself back. Don't box yourself in. Yeah. I feel really good about this. This is a good energy to be in. I want to look at some of the outcomes for you on the other side of this change. What are some positive takeaways for you, aside from what we've already established? And we have antimony. I feel like I want to do this. Okay. So I think something that's going to happen for you as a result of this change is this drive to express yourself creatively. And it's not going anywhere. You've kind of unleashed the beast, so to speak. And creative expression is something that's a part of you, and it always will be. What you have here is powerful, and you can use that for continued change. You can be a part of something, or you can choose to bury it all, but it may eat at you if you can't get it out, okay? I think you've got this power. We talked about it, the stimulation, something's growing, right? In your creative expression, we were talking about making popcorn and how it, one kernel explodes on another and another with this buildup of steam and heat. This is something integral to you, and it's going to turn heads. Right? This is likely something that you can use to make some money from. Whether you're integrating that into a current position that you already have, or if you're satisfying an urge in, say, like a side hustle of some kind, or if you wind up looking for an entirely new job, or say self-employment is an option. Know that you have the magic. Group 4, you have what it takes. Nobody can take that fire away from you. Respect it and don't suppress it. Don't repress it. All right? That'll just be you getting in your own way, and it's still going to come out in some way, shape, or form. All right, so the drawback card that I have here is chaos. And it really recalls to me the Wheel of Fortune card that we looked at earlier. Any artist, any creative person knows how creation is, how it can get to you also. There may be times you don't know who the master is. Are you creating the art, or are you just like a vessel and things are coming through you regardless? That's one drawback of this change. And know that it's not that you're not having brilliant ideas. You are. It's that you may get stuck or feel boxed in from time to time also, especially if you're employed at a traditional 9-to-5 kind of job. And so you may have some ups and downs, as any person would, and sometimes you just need to wait that out, okay? This kind of energy where we're forced to take a break, take a pause, it can often signal that new energy and new ideas are coming, and just be ready when your creative flow opens up again, because it will. It's sort of like you've got the faucet, the tap, and you turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Especially if you are kind of going back and forth between something that's a little more traditional and, say, like, you just start exploring, you start learning, you start taking classes while you're still employed, and something that's a little more traditional. And so it's like, how do I balance this out in my schedule? How do I make a little more time for this? And, learning the ropes that way. And so it may be a matter of feeling really in the flow sometimes and like not wanting to turn it off, but it's like, oh, I have to because I need to get enough rest and I have to get up and do what I need to do. Yeah, so there is a little bit of that, but the creativity is not going anywhere. You want to make sure that you're continuing to express yourself. And finally, the last thing that I'd like to examine is any advice from Spirit on the situation. Is there anything else that you need to know or do going forward? And so we have the Judgment card here. So it's another major. You had 3, right? We talked about that earlier, having quite a few. You have also got the Wheel of Fortune again. That's wild. You have got the 2 of Coins. Nice little balance card coming in, chasing on the heels of that confusion. That's good. And the 3 of Wands. A vision for the future. And nice, the 6 of Coins. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so Spirit is pointing out to me, Group 4, don't hold yourself back due to what other people think, okay? You are more powerful than you realize. Your voice is strong. What you do and who you are, it matters. Yeah. So our Wheel of Fortune again. This time I feel as though with your newfound skills and courage, it's like you're taking the reins and you're willing to take more risks and express yourself. So there's no more of like the mouse energy. There's more of that balanced tiger energy here. Whatever you decide to do, know that you are going to find financial security if you're changing jobs or if you're starting in an entirely new career. Things may be slow at first, but you will build enough financial security that you will be comfortable to take some time out when you want to be able to contribute to charities or causes, things that are very meaningful to you, and to take a break or vacation when you need to as well. You've got room to grow and to go after what it is in your life that you want. You know, the future is really yours. And Spirit says to dream big and spend some time investing in yourself and what catches your eye. This is something that you can truly build on and to give back to yourself. And Group 4, now is the time to do so. Harness what's happening here. Yes, yes, yes. I would love to know what your projects are. All right, so Group 4, that's what's coming through for you today. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange, if you please leave your favorite, let's do an orange emoji. Pick an orange colored emoji of some type to symbolize that radical creative expression that you have. And if you're not a subscriber yet, give it some thought and hit that notification bell so you never miss any future uploads. And if you enjoyed this reading or you found it helpful, be sure to give it a like and share it with others who might benefit from it. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can find all the details in the description box below. That's all for me today, folks. And I loved connecting with you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. So take care, my friends. Bye-bye.